to the Fantasy Think. I'm Jared, and today I'm going to do two short reviews for two short books I've recently finished. And one of them, the first one, let's start with that one, is called Non-Stop by Brian Aldiss. And this is part of the sci-fi masterwork series. And we are reading that we're reading this for our read along that we schedule on pagechewing.com. And this book is my first Brian Aldiss story, although I have read some comic book adaptations of some of his. I think he did a vampire based series, and I've read comic book adaptations of that, but that doesn't really delve into what Aldiss could do as a writer. So yeah, first Aldiss story novel, and it was pretty good, I gotta say. This was written in the 50s, I believe, and this is a very interesting story. It it has a lot of tongue-in-cheek involved in there. Our main character is named Roy Complain. So take that for how you wish. But it's so there's little jokes in there about imagine a place without complaint. Anyways, so anyways, all this sets up this society, and it's completely fantastical. Even though it's supposed to be, you imagine it's going to be way in the future, but it feels like a society that is rooted in very pastoral roots, very tribal roots. They're not technologically advanced, but then technology creeps in, so you think, oh, maybe this is some sort of post-apocalyptic society, and in a way it is. And that's kind of the beauty of the story here, is all this creates this setting and allows these things to creep in, and that's what sets up some of the like the jokey situations, and some of the irony, and some of the more modern way of modern for 1950s modern way of thinking that is infused in this society. And but he still presents it as a strange alien type of society. It's definitely, there's something off here, there's something off kilter, and their terminology are, and the way they present themselves. They have a priest, but the way he worships things is you know they they uh they look at the way they set up their society in this rigid, um, individualized type of viewpoint to everything. Like, one of their expressions is expansion to your ego, and their response is at your expense. So think about what kind of society, tribal society, has to be set up in order for something like that to develop. And it's pretty clever once you see how Aldous weave this stuff in to the narrative. And it's from Complain's, most of the book is from Roy Complain's point of view. So we're learning what all this society is from us, from our own perspective. It's very strange because we're not in on the jokes. We're not in on the makeup of the society, the buildup of it. And so the little things that get thrown in there that are familiar to us are sometimes strange to them, or they interpret it in a strange way that we wouldn't see it as. And so very, very clever, I thought, on Aldiss's part. So as the story goes on, it really veers off in some wild directions, and then and curtains get pulled back constantly. constantly as we discover more and more about this society and the next society that they run into in the next one, and it gets bigger and bigger that as the more curtains are pulled back and you start to see the bigger picture, and then you get it, and you're like, oh wow, it was pretty clever. I really liked it. It made you wonder where it was going. It kept you thinking. It kept it mysterious, and it kept you guessing to what was going to happen next. And so I enjoyed that part of it. And it was short. Uh, this book, it was very short. It's under 200 pages, I believe. And so I really liked how he did it. I really liked how he put this forth. I really liked a lot of the um, explanations of why things are the way they are. But some of it was done very quickly and off the cuff and didn't really get too far in depth. And I don't think that was the point of this book. The point of this book was not to really explain how the science came about the way it did, and how these societies came about. It wasn't a point to explain it. The point was just to show it. This is how it is, and then what when everything's taken away from them, everything they know is taken away from them. What are they going to do about it? How are they going to respond? And so the that is the mystery here. That is the thing that keeps the reader invested and keeps the reader going. And um, there's not to say that there's not some problems with this book. There were some sections that you wonder why the characters are doing or making the decisions that they are. They don't seem to have a solid basis for some of these decisions. Some of them just come out of left field and they just go and do it. It's to serve the plot, basically, rather than any deep character analysis that would allow you to say, "Oh yeah, I know why this person made that decision or that person made that decision," because I could see it in their character development. But that doesn't happen here. This is written in the 50s, and the plot was more important than finding out what these characters' motivations and what have you. So the and I will say the ending was quite sudden. So all this also has there's quite a lot of instances of the male gaze in here, so be prepared for that. It's not overly done. It's not like so irritating it got in the way of the story, but it is there. And the and I'm not even sure that the main character was all that likable. I mean, he was all right. Um, yeah, he had his faults, but he in the end, he you wonder if he did the right thing, uh, and you wonder whether the other characters around him were the ones who were doing the right thing. So there wasn't any easy answers here as far as what the right thing was. It's very gray. It was very strange how the setup ended up resolving itself. You're not sure if this resolution is actually the best for everyone involved, if that makes sense. Why this book is called Nonstop, I'm not 100% sure. I think it would have been better off being called The Long Journey. That seems to come up quite a bit in this book. So it's a strange title. I really don't know why they chose that title. I see a little bit why, but it's just, I don't know. It's kind of lame. The title's kind of lame, actually. But overall, I did enjoy my time with this book. It was the prose was nice and easy to read, and it was very interesting, very interesting situation. You know, the idea. The idea is the key. So that's what all these books from the 50s and 60s. The idea is the key, and that if you snag on to this idea and um, about this, this society and how it is made and how it evolves and giving, just talking about anything about the aspects of this society would give a lot away, because and there's a lot of mystery involved, and there's a lot of things, like I said, curtains pulled aside and go, aha, and here's the next thing, and here's the next thing, and here's the next, so fun to read, and I enjoyed it a lot. All right, on to the second book, short book I read this week that I'm going to talk about, and that is Tad Williams' Caliban's Hour. This was neat. I found this copy of the book in a used bookstore. As you can see, it's a little beat up with the edges and stuff, the cover. But that's cool. I like that. Anyways, and nice cover, nice artwork on the cover, really cool. So this, of course, is a kind of addition and sort of a retelling a little bit of Shakespeare's The Tempest, Caliban's Hour. And of course, the focus is Caliban. And the premise here is that he goes and visits Miranda long after the events in The Tempest. And Miranda's older now, and he that's the scene. That's how this book starts, basically, right there. He comes in, surprises her in her bedroom, and things move from there. His hour is him telling his story over again to Miranda. Even though Miranda knows part of the story, she was there, but not all of it, and not a lot of it, actually. And Caliban tells his story and how he felt during this whole situation that happened in Shakespeare's The Tempest. And I thought it was just very well done. I really like Tad Williams' writing in this. This is my first Tad Williams. I've never read him before. I have not read Memory, Sorrow, Thorn, and those series, the Austin Hard series. So I'm glad that I liked it, because now I don't have any compunctions about one day picking those up. So this was a nice introduction to Williams's prose, and I quite enjoyed it. Most of it was first person through Caliban's telling the story, and so it's really cool because you start to wonder, Caliban at this point is not the nicest guy in the world. So you start to wonder how much of this viewpoint, how much of the story that he's telling about himself is skewed to the point where it's twisted, and it doesn't, does it really reflect the events that actually happened? We have to figure that out for ourselves. And I think there's some clues in here, and I think there's some little things towards the end that Williams gives us, that drops us and says, and allows us to make up our minds. And I think he's slanting it a little bit one way, and I won't tell you which, but it's very well done. I thought I had a really good time reading this, and I didn't feel like I had to rush through it, even though it's a short book. I felt like I could take my time and really absorb it, and I really like what he did with Shakespeare's story, basically. So it's pretty clever, and I had a good time with it, and yeah, I highly recommend this. It's very short. You'll go through it, and it won't take up much of your time, and it'll be very enjoyable. And that's what we want out of these short books, to be, just immersed into another world for a moment and enjoy ourselves, and and have a drink while you relax. And this is the perfect book for that. Especially since, if you're familiar with Shakespeare's The Tempest, you don't need that much context going into this at all. You have it already. You have it, even if you never read The Tempest itself, and you're familiar with the concept of Shakespeare and how he tells stories, and how and how, and even if you just heard about Prospero from the Tempest, and the troubles in Italy and what have you, Naples, then you will be able to get into this and be quite entertained by it. And it's always interesting to get a first person viewpoint from such a character in from from a famous story, and get that different viewpoint and aspect to it. So really, really cool. I really like this a lot. I suggest it highly. So, all right. With all that said, those are both of my short reviews today, and just didn't wasn't that short, I guess. All right. Be good to each other, and thank you for watching.